with Chelsea this season?
Of course, it's a dream for not only for me, but for everyone. We already win the World of Club, and some players win the Conference League as well. And you know how it's important to win with Chelsea, and you have to work hard these 3 games left to win every single game.
It's interesting, isn't it, Jules, listening to that interview, and you look at the season that Chelsea have had, that it still could end on quite the high.
Yeah, that's right. It could be another season with a trophy. Let's not forget, they won the Club World Cup in the summer. They won the Conference League a few weeks before that. It will save the season, there's no doubt, because right now they're ninth in the table in the Premier League. That's where they might finish. And the FA Cup, a trophy, by the way, they lost their last 3 finals over there. The last 3 finals at Wembley in the FA Cup final were all defeats. So if they could beating Manchester City as well, of all club, of all people in the final, to make it at least to the Europa League, that would not still be making a good season, but at least that would save what was a really poor season until then. It won't be easy. It's a big challenge. I don't think they're favourite at all, but at least if they can get that, there's a bit of momentum towards the following season.
And given everything we've seen from Chelsea this season, to your point, Kay, it is amazing that we could finish at this point, that they beat Manchester City in an FA Cup final, as much as I don't see it happening. They have a puncher's chance. I can't help but think of the Champions League final 5 years ago, where I probably gave Chelsea even less of a chance. Yet they won that one against Manchester City. And now they have an opportunity, given the absolute chaos that this in every single regard, it gives them momentum to build on for next season. Now, they still have to go there and win a game against a very difficult opponent. Again, I don't see it happening, but kind of given how crazy this season has been, it's incredible to think that they're in a final.
I wonder if, as a fan of Chelsea, people have the foresight to understand that winning this FA Cup may not be the best thing, because it's masking a lot of the issues. You lean on that and consider that a successful season and show the trophy and say, look, we got a trophy. We won the FA Cup. And if that then keeps you from truly addressing the issues of this club, then instead of taking a step forward, you're taking a step backwards. Chelsea has a lot of concerns in terms of on-the-field issues, a lot of concerns in terms of the personnel that is available, a lot of concerns in terms of the coaching position, a lot of concerns, period. And winning FA Cup is like, oh, we got concerns, but here's a trophy, so put those concerns to the side. And if that's the way you run the club, then you're running into trouble. I know that most fans are like, we don't care. We'll win the darn thing, and we'll worry about that later. I'm simply suggesting be careful about masking your problems, because if you do that, then you may just find yourself in that Spurs sort of situation. Just mask problems, and then you are struggling to stay in the league.
Yeah, Alex just asked Andre Santos there about the coaching changes, and one man that's been linked with Chelsea and the job in the future here is Xabi Alonso. Jules, have there been any developments on this story?
They're going through the process of recruitment, so they've spoken to a few of those names that you see on our list there. We've had this list, which has been the list that the club also had pretty much from the beginning. They've gone through the process of speaking to those managers, to not fully interviewing them in the sense of like they've been chats, and then some of them have presented already the project to the club and what they would do, like Xabi Alonso, for example, who apparently was quite impressive to the hierarchy that interviewed him. But there's still more to come. Obviously, they're not going to make a decision anytime soon. I mean, it won't be long, but there's still plenty of time. We're only like mid-May. But they're already getting through that process. Is the right thing to do with an Iraola, with a Glasner, with a Fabregas, with a Xabi Alonso. Those are, I think, Felipe Luis, obviously, as well. Those are the main names. We've said from the beginning, they want a young coach. They want a coach that will change the mentality and the DNA almost of this team, because you almost need a reset. Again, things have been so bad since the American owners arrive, that you need somebody who's going to do a bit like what Mikel Arteta has done at Chelsea or what Luis Enrique has done at PSG, arrive and change the mentality of that football club to go from a fresh start and to start building, and whether that takes 1 year, 2 years, 3, 4, 5, 6, it doesn't matter really so much, but you need a massive reshuffle in what you've been doing in the last 2 or 3 years.
Xabi Alonso as a fit at Chelsea, how do you see that?
Well, I see it as a really good fit for Chelsea. I don't see it as a great fit for Xabi Alonso. It's a really good fit for Chelsea if you draw parallels to what Xabi Alonso did when he first went to Bayer Leverkusen. Let's not forget that when he first went to Bayer Leverkusen, that's a team that was struggling with relegation. They were in the conversation. And so it was a team that had issues, again, with player personnel, lack of talent. They didn't have an identity. They didn't know what the direction was going to be. He comes in as a new manager and with young players that were willing to listen and young players that were willing to try some of the things that Xabi Alonso was trying to implement on the field, they both grew up together. Both Xabi Alonso as a manager and the players grew up with him as well. That is something that could potentially happen at Chelsea. There is, if you want to look for parallels, if you want to look for reasons as to why this would make sense, yeah, that you can draw some of those lines between Leverkusen and Chelsea. But if you're Xabi Alonso, you yourself, you're in a different place now than what you were then. You don't need this project. You don't want this project. You want something else entirely.
Yes, well, we will see how that all plays out. But don't miss the FA Cup final between Chelsea